What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. Hi, husband.
Toast case.
Toast case.
Toast case.
You're looking very handsome over there.
Yeah, I know. I'm creative
very nice
and I'm
over
fun
there.
and
Yeah.
I have pretty hair. You should marry me.
Oh man, I would, but I'm already married.
Darn, I'll kill him with my bare hands.
Oh God.
Yeah. Better watch out, bitch. I'm coming.
We are back here with Tier Zoo, America's secret top tier animal. I apologize for the delay.
I have a hint on who America's top tier animal is.
Raccoon.
I mean, we can see part of the screen, so it's either an antelope or I'm confused.
I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe and sanitized. I'm really excited to get into this Tier Zoo video, but also just a reminder that in addition to Tier Zoo, if you like the nature stuff, we do Casual Geographic, we do Lindsay videos, we do Zafrank videos. Go check all of those out, you know? Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
That was very cool.
Cheetahs are low-tier trash.
Wait a minute!
Hey, yo,
Wait a second!
Hey, bro, loaded up the clip, but I'm about to get him with this one, bruh. So, we've been following Tier Zoo for a long time, right?
Yeah.
He's had a lot of opinions
Yes.
that cause a lot of discussion in his chat. But people forget, he is here to teach us things, right? This is not like a cool opinionated channel.
Right.
Right? He uses the video games to relate to the audience, to teach us things so we learn.
Right.
So maybe when we do the reactions, right, the conversation isn't always us adding context and things.
Yeah.
It's more so like, I didn't know that, right? You're digging into the animals and all those kind of things.
Right.
But where he's been unable to move us is with cheetahs. That's me. That's directed at me.
Every Tier Zoo video that we have shot,
Yeah.
I have to pause it to disagree with something that he says.
Right, yeah, right.
Because I refuse to let go of my idealized concept
That's right.
of these animals.
You don't let his facts dissuade your feelings.
Exactly.
You tell me cheetahs is trash, then why do they meow like that? Why do they run super fast?
Exactly.
And how come when I watch Transformers, they got a cheetah bot? And he run real
you
quick.
can't run as fast as a cheetah.
Say what?
Also, that one ant in Hunter x Hunter that could also be a
That's
cheetah,
right.
he was like top tier.
He was cool.
He got beat up at the end, but he was good until then.
He should have just skedaddled.
Exactly.
All right, so I feel attacked. I was attacked, but off we go.
The fastest land build in the game has a ton of flaws in its game plan, which you could learn about in this video here if you like. But
Great.
enough about cheetahs. What about the second fastest?
Okay.
Do you even know what it
Jackalope.
is? How does it stack up
bunny.
against its competition? I talk a lot on this channel about how overpowered the animals in the Africa server are. And while that's certainly true, the North America server also has its fair share of builds with ridiculously OP stats.
Bears.
Including one little known build with the second fastest run speed in the entire game.
Okay.
You might expect it to be a type of big cat, maybe a close relative of the cheetah, like the mountain lion, or perhaps a type of cervid, like a deer
Yeah,
or elk.
that's where I was
Yeah.
at.
No, it's actually the smallest member of the giraffe family.
What?
One
What?
that most players probably
Oh,
wouldn't
can't be.
expect to be related to the giant that we know and love, the American pronghorn.
What?
What the hell is that?
What?
The pronghorn may not
pronghorn?
look like much, but it sports some pretty impressive stats, including the second highest base mobility stat of any terrestrial animal,
Prove it.
Okay.
Prove it.
with only the cheetah having a higher top speed.
Really?
This makes it faster than every other build in the North America server by a substantial margin. Pumas, bears, and even wolves have essentially zero shot at closing the distance to a pronghorn player. Pronghorns have much more endurance than most predators, and are
Okay.
able to maintain these high speeds for significant
Their little white
distances,
butt.
not just short sprints as most predators do. Pronghorns also have horns on their head.
Really? I was unaware that an animal called a pronghorn would have horns on its head. Frankly, it's shocking to me.
Are you still mad about the cheetah comment? Like, are you really just trying to go in?
I just-
Are you really just trying to go in? Just let it go. Don't be salty.
You know what that explanation reminds me of?
Huh.
I just watched this TikTok of this girl who was furious because she watched a video of a girl making a bean soup.
Okay.
And there are a bunch of people in the comments asking about various substitutions that they could make in the bean soup. Right?
Right. Like what?
You know, oh, what if I don't like kale? Or what if I don't have this? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's sensible. Yeah.
So then the girl who made the bean soup made a response video. It was like, hey, these are the various substitutions you can make. But also, for those of you who are asking what you could substitute the beans for.
In the bean soup.
In the bean soup.
Maybe bean.
That has beans.
Maybe bean juice.
Maybe don't make a bean soup if you want to substitute out
I got
the
a
beans.
substitution.
The pronghorns have horns thing just reminded me of like bean soup. It's gonna have beans.
You gotta remember, in animal names, they don't always equate 1 to 1.
Right.
There's like the scientific name that is the name for what it is.
Yes.
Then like the made up name that we just call the shit.
We just called it, yeah.
So, okay.
Like red panda, or like pandas.
Yes, exactly.
Which are not actually pandas, but red pandas are actually pandas, but they have to have a qualifier by their name because of racism.
Oh my lord. Shouts out to my Redskins out there. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
I think my brain just broke a little bit.
Really?
That was the most unexpected thing you could have said to me.
Really? That's the most unexpected thing. Shouts out to my Red. You've never heard that phrase before? Can I get a hey-o? Hey-o.
I'm editing that out.
Hell no. You leave my shout-outs alone. Redskin pandas need shout-outs too, man.
They're not redskin pandas. They're just red pandas.
Just the fur is red. Not the skin. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yes.
My bad, Redskins. Me red furs. Shout out to my red furs out there.
Play the video.
You got
Stop talking.
You no problem, boss.
Pronghorns also have horns on their head, which can deal decent damage in a pinch, although it's pretty rare they'd actually need to use them for anything other than dueling against each other.
Right.
Still, these sharp, keratinized horns can definitely do some damage. Pronghorns aren't particularly stealthy because of their bright white back
I
end.
was gonna say, look at
However,
that butt.
even with how noticeable they are, if you ever see a pronghorn, it's almost certain it sees you first. Their eyes are incredibly sensitive and can detect movement from 4 miles away.
Damn!
Whoa!
Because of their huge field of view, this makes it borderline impossible to sneak up on a pronghorn, unless your build has some insanely high-level stealth abilities. Pronghorns have one of the lowest HP stats of any North American ungulate. They, of course, share a server with builds like the elk, moose, and buffalo, all with a massive health bar, making them near impossible to bring down solo. Conversely, pronghorns rely entirely on their speed stat to keep them safe, and can't really afford to take any damage at all. For the most part, the pronghorn's general game plan works great. Because they have the ruminant ability, their food is abundant, as they're able to digest grass, shrubs, and even cacti if necessary. They also are able to consume plants that are toxic to builds like sheep, cattle, and horses, meaning they don't usually compete for resources with livestock. And so, as long as they don't get careless, pronghorns are usually able to evade most conflict.
Look at the
So why is the pronghorn so uniquely fast? Its immense speed stat legitimately feels like overkill, and I would argue that in the current meta, it absolutely is. However, the pronghorn has been one of North America's top survivalists for a long time, through several balance patches and expansions.
Really?
And during the Younger Dryas expansion, there were additional, speedier threats that the pronghorn player base had to contend with, namely the American lion and American cheetah. These felid builds were extremely dangerous to a lightweight, evasive style build like the pronghorn. The American cheetah in particular had a max speed stat roughly equivalent to its African and Asian counterparts, but was also bigger and bulkier than the modern cheetah. And so during that particular ranked season, the pronghorn wisely opted to max out its speed and endurance in order to evade attacks from these American felids. However, these felids were banned with the launch of the Holocene balance patch, leaving the pronghorn hugely overtuned for its remaining competition. Still, this didn't mean automatic success for the pronghorn. In fact, their player count was dwindling up until very recently. The reason for this is that pronghorns are extremely poor vertical jumpers, and so they're heavily impeded by any sort of barrier. They require open terrain with good visibility in order to remain competitively viable. So when human players started constructing barriers made of sharp metal, things got really dangerous really fast for the pronghorn. Most of the herbivore builds in the North American meta can easily clear the vertical of an average barbed wire fence.
Right.
But pronghorn players usually opt to crawl under barriers if possible.
Interesting.
Because of the pronghorn's low HP stat, even relatively mild chip damage from barbed wire fences can deal lethal damage to a pronghorn. This issue was really frustrating to deal with as a pronghorn main, and so most of them just opted to play characters with better vertical mobility. But eventually, the human player base realized how unfair this tech was, and opted to self-impose a ban on the tech in important areas.
Okay, good.
As a result, the pronghorn player base has recovered massively and is no longer at risk of collapsing. So I don't know if I can quite give them an S-tier rank.
So, it's one of those interesting things where, like, in retrospect, you're like, oh my God, so easy. Either, lower the fences even more or get rid of the barbed parts, right? We could do it with other type of fences, you know? But, like, to figure that out probably took us so long. Then to come up with a solution, like it takes so much time. And at the same time, like, their numbers are clearly suffering because of it.
Right.
Yeah, man.
I never considered... So, first of all, when I see things like pronghorns, my immediate thought is, oh, it's a deer.
It's a deer, exactly. Me too.
And when I think of deer, I think, oh, leaping, bounding gracefully through the forest.
Yep, bouncy, zoomy, fluffy tails, and delicious.
And they go, meh!
Or they go, meh! I said that they were bouncy, fluffy tails, zoomy, and delicious. Sorry, just to say they go meh or they go meh because you're killing them to eat them on the grill because they're delicious. They're good. It's good.
In other news, I have a husband for sale.
But I'm agreeing
$50 or best offer.
I'm agreeing.
Leave your offer in the comments below.
Stop being like this in this
I'm
video.
also open to a barter kind of trade.
Shut up. That's been disproven. I'm just saying.
I'll roll them up like a burrito.
I also didn't know
that
they were immediately not deer. I'm agreeing with you. Ergo, probably not delicious. Don't eat.
But I'm just saying, because I look at them and immediately categorize them as deer, I also kind of put them in the same realm as bighorn sheep.
Okay. Yeah.
Just when I immediately look at them. But I just immediately was like, yeah, so they jump. They jump all over the place. They're jumping and bouncing and hopping, Yeah. It's like a bouncy house in there.
And they're just ducking underneath this thing off my back. I run straight. I don't jump.
So unfortunate.
There this tech was, and opted to self-impose a ban on the tech in important areas. As a result, the pronghorn player race has recovered massively and is no longer at risk of collapsing. So I don't know if I can quite give them an S-tier rank, since they're highly vulnerable to disruption if any sort of major balance patch imposes a lot of barriers into their territory.
Okay.
In addition to the obvious things like human structures, like roads and fences. Any increase in woodland biomes would also severely hamper their ability to detect predators or run for long distances to escape. This is the main reason why pronghorns, despite still being faster than any of their potential competition, have failed to make an impact in biomes with less open spaces, such as the woodland tundra biome of the backcountry of Canada, or the jungles of Central America, where stealth-based builds like the Puma and Jaguar have more of an advantage. Now, to be fair, having an unfavorable matchup versus a Jaguar isn't saying much.
Yeah.
They are the undisputed top-tier predator throughout the entirety of the Central and South American jungle biome.
No, leave!
But it would be impressive to see them diversify their playstyle a bit to see if they could be more competitive in less open terrain, as their other giraffoid ancestors used to be.
That's cool.
Especially since the pronghorn's other main weakness is made worse by the fact that they spend time in completely open spaces. That weakness being their vulnerability to aerial attacks. With no tree cover, pronghorns have nowhere to hide from the one predator that actually is able to keep up with them, the golden eagle. They may be the second fastest land build in the game,
Get the hell out of here.
but if you include flying builds, most birds beat this speed pretty easily, especially predatory birds.
Oh my
Still,
God.
it's hard not to respect a build that managed to adapt so effectively that its strategy hard countered the game plan of their main opponents.
Man, I completely forget how big those birds are.
I forget all the time. Every time I see a big ass bird, I'm just like, How have they not already taken over the world?
Damn.
You know?
Yeah.
They could snatch up a baby.
Yeah, literally. Your toddler's gone.
Also, every time I see those birds, I think of that scene in The Proposal.
Oh, she's fighting the bird off. The bird takes the cell phone and she's like running around.
And then she tries to offer it to the dog.
If you ain't never seen the movie, go check it out. It's a good reference.
It's a cute movie.
That's a solid reference.
That's one of the first movies we watched as a couple.
Is it one of the first ones?
Yeah.
And
I think it is the first movie that we watched in our new apartment.
Did we stop watching that to suck face? How long? Because I remember that fucking movie.
This is a PG-13 channel.
PG-13? Well, let's talk to you about mating animals. the mating call of youth. Netflix and chill. That's a good one. No, give me the cactus hand.
The what?
The cactus hand. It's prickly because the Velcro.
Oh my God.
All right,
but it doesn't make a satisfying sound. It's just like thumping.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's get into it. I was like, somebody let loose a lion back there? I was like, what the fuck? Bro, who is doing that? Sorry, guys. I don't know if you can hear it. It's a rumbling back there. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera. It's very loud.
Oh, I bet you it's our neighbor's new motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. It probably is. Let's see if he parks it. Okay, we're going to continue. If you hear rumbling, just pretend like you don't.
Sorry.
Here we go.
It's hard not to respect a build that managed to adapt so effectively that its strategy hard countered the game plan of their main opponents,
right,
driving them to complete and total irrelevancy. Then again, is it really that big a flex that a variant of the Cheetah build ended up not being viable in the current meta? I wouldn't be that surprised if, given enough time, the African Antelope mains also started speccing into higher speed or greater bulk in order to invalidate the African Cheetah's only favorable matchup.
Stop talking about my
Anyways,
boy
with all that
like
being said, I'm gonna give the Pronghorn the rank of A tier.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, bro, for the actual finish. You know, I always wonder in these vids, because it's not the theme of the video, but I always wonder in these vids if some of these advantages that they got were actually just side effects of other things they had to adapt to. Like the extreme speed had an obvious advantage in one place, but was actually just a mechanical advantage in another place, you know, or like the jumping thing. They just couldn't jump. The muscle was just built in a different area, causing them able to run at extreme speeds. You know, because evolution really isn't like a stat page in a video game. You know, you're not actually speccing into strength on purpose. It's kind of just happenstance.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like my beauty. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed it to survive as a baby, and I just get it as an adult. It's not like I wanted to be such a hot adult. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Are you done?
That's pretty accurate, though.
Are you done complimenting
It just
yourself?
proves my point, is all I'm saying.
I really enjoyed this video. I love all of TierZoo's videos, even when we disagree, even when he's, you know, casting unnecessary aspersions against the characters that I like.
Fucking aspersions. Take that shit. Huh?
You could talk all you want about, you know, the intelligence and the health points of cheetahs, okay? But you never talk about what truly matters.
What's that, babe?
Their aesthetic value.
Right.
They're very cute. They're adorable. Have you seen cheetah babies?
We need them to be high tier. We need it.
You know how there was that trend where like he's a 10 but blah 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 blah. You know, and like yours would be he's a 10 but he doesn't kiss my face enough, right?
That's a good PG one.
But like for cheetahs, it's like they're a 10 but they're
yeah, go for it.
They have low HP and they're not really that strong. And
their babies get murdered.
Their babies get murdered.
Very high rate of infanticide.
But they're still a 10.
Yeah.
That's the point. Thank you guys so much for watching this with us.
Thank you for watching this with me. It's been a pleasure having me in your household. Tell your mom hi.
Don't forget to leave your reaction requests and recommendations down in the comment.
Get it over there. Turn it over.
Down. I was like down. Down in the comments below. And other than that, peace out, hope, biscuits. It's Skittin' Lit.